first day in Morocco, and we couldn't have started in a more magical place than Marrakesh. Here, in the square Yama El Fna, under the midday sun, the air is full of energy. Snake charmers play their flutes. People from across Africa gather here, dressed in bright colors. Water sellers pose in wide hats and shining brass cups. It's loud, it's warm, it's wild, but somehow it feels just right. We had arrived in the city a bit earlier. After wandering through narrow alleys, we finally found the place where we would stay. A traditional riad with a quiet central patio, a little world of its own. We were welcomed with mint tea, a warm gesture of Moroccan hospitality. On the way to the hotel, Marrakesh had already amazed us, with its colors, its chaos, its charm. So we quickly left our bags, freshened up a little, and stepped out again. Time for our first walk, to feel the city, to get lost in its streets, its sounds, and its surprises. Just a few steps from our door, and we were in another world. The souks of Marrakesh, a maze of narrow alleys, full of life, color, and the sound of people calling out from every side. Shops overflowing with carpets, lamps, spices, and leather bags. The air smelled of sandalwood and something sweet being baked. It was the perfect place to get lost. As the afternoon goes on, everything starts to change in the square. Stalls appear almost out of nowhere. The square is now packed. Locals, travelers, music, voices, laughter. The energy is different now, more intense, more alive. Juice stalls light up with colors. Fruits are stacked in perfect shapes. A sweet break in the middle of the evening chaos. People walk, talk, taste, and laugh under the warm lights of the stalls. Smoke rises in the warm air, and the smell of grilled meat, fried fish, and spices fills the space. Tents lit by hanging lamps, turning Jama El Fana into one big open-air kitchen. Next to them, long shared tables and benches are set up for people to sit, eat, and enjoy the night. This is Marrakesh in the evening. Wild, smoky, full of flavor, and impossible to forget. The next day started with a visit to one of the most beautiful places in all of Morocco, the Bahia Palace. Built in Moroccan and Andalusian style, it feels like a quiet oasis in the heart of the city. Carved cedarwood and fine stucco decorate the ceilings. Mosaic tiles cover the floors and walls like colorful carpets. Open courtyards bring in light, fresh air, and green plants. Everything here feels calm, elegant, and perfectly balanced. Next stop was at Madrasa Ben Youssef, once a school for students of the Quran. The delicate carvings and calligraphic inscriptions of Quranic verses were quietly reflected in the water of the pool in the peaceful courtyard. The place, once filled with students and silent prayers, was now full of visitors, trying to capture with their cameras the impressive decorations and the artistic, almost spiritual ambiance of this historic building. We left Madrasa Ben Youssef and returned once again to the colorful and crowded souks. This time, we walked through areas divided by craft. Blacksmiths at work. Leather being treated and dyed. Shops filled with brass lamps and decorations. places where you could find all kinds of traditional souvenirs. Little objects that seemed to carry stories from faraway parts of Central Africa. A Berber pharmacy with walls lined with spices, herbs, and natural products. Argan oil, extracted by pressing the seeds in a hand-driven stone mill. The fundoks were once old caravanserais, inns where traders stayed with their animals and stored their goods during long journeys. They were typically built around an interior courtyard, surrounded by rooms or storage spaces for visitors. Today, many of these historic buildings have been beautifully restored and transformed into shops, art galleries, restaurants, or charming places to stay. A quiet and pleasant spot for a coffee break is the Secret Garden, one of the largest and oldest monuments in the Medina of Marrakesh. Reflecting the elegance of Moroccan architecture, it also hosts plants from every continent. A peaceful haven that offers history, beauty, and a welcome moment to relax. Stepping out of the secret garden, we found ourselves once again in the familiar world of sounds and colors. It was already midday, and we decided to try some traditional Moroccan dishes. We started with small appetizers, olives, peppers, and local dips. Then came a variety of the famous tagines, rich, tasty stews slow-cooked in their iconic clay pots. And of course, we finished with a glass of aromatic mint tea. A stone's throw away from Jemaa El Fna lies the neighborhood of Mela. Once home to Marrakesh's Jewish community, it still holds a unique charm that quietly speaks of the past. Today, it's one of the city's main commercial areas, full of shops selling household goods, everyday items, fabrics, ceramics, and most of all, spices of every color and scent. Walking through it feels like stepping back in time, into a world of ancient trade routes and faded traditions carried by the scent of spices and the hum of daily life. To end our stay in Marrakesh, we took an afternoon carriage ride. We passed through the lively neighborhoods of the old city, narrow streets lined with small shops, full of color, voices, and the sounds of everyday life. A city so vivid, so full of character. After a short stop to let the horses rest and drink water, we continued on to the new part of town. The scenery changed. Wide boulevards, buildings in the same earthy tones, but modern, surrounded by lush greenery. As the sun slowly set, we enjoyed these final moments in the city. The next day, a new adventure awaited us. A 3-day journey heading towards the edge of the Sahara Desert.